The Green Bay Packers get into the win column with a big 16-10 win over the Indianapolis Colts. Was it pretty? No. Was it vital? Yes. And did it prove a few things? Absolutely. We're going to break it all down for you next on the Daily Packers Post. I'm Gil Martin. Welcome to episode 7 of the Daily Packers Post. Recording this shortly after the Packers' victory over the Indianapolis Colts. Green Bay now 1-1 on the season and evening things up, even though Jordan Love does not play. Malik Willis gets the start, his first as a Packer, and his first career victory as a starting quarterback in just his 4th career NFL start. And I think it was clear from the jump what the Packers were trying to do. They end up receiving the opening kickoff and marching down the field for essentially what was an 8-play, 57-yard drive, ends in a field goal, but almost all of those plays were running plays. And the beautiful thing is, and I give a lot of credit to head coach Matt LaFleur, the way he called the game. Yes, Josh Jacobs was going to be the workhorse. He filled that position, and he did it well. For the game, Josh Jacobs ends up carrying the football 32 times for 151 yards. He does not get into the end zone, does not score a touchdown. But with the exception of one play, boy, Jacobs was the workhorse, did a great job for this team, and ends up with a $151 on the game. But it wasn't just Jacobs getting the job done running the football. You had some designed quarterback runs from Malik Willis. He gains 41 yards on just 6 carries. You had the jet sweep / end arounds. Jaden Reed, 2 carries for 37 yards, including a 22-yarder. Bo Melton running twice for 8 yards. One of them gained 16. He lost 8 on the second. But overall, what you saw was a Packers team that was creative with the way they faked, the way they ran the football, and they mixed in just enough passing to keep Malik Willis confident and to keep the Indianapolis Colts defense guessing, and they were able to pull that off. You look at the numbers for Malik Willis, 12 of 14 for 122 yards, so that's a little more than 10 yards of completion, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, a quarterback rating of 126.8. Romeo Doubs and Dontavian Wicks, each with 3 catches. Wicks, the only touchdown pass. And, oh, yeah, that was the first touchdown pass in Malik Willis's NFL career. It was just great, especially in the first half, to see the offense moving the ball as well as they did. And you kind of look back at those first half stats. The offense already had 237 rushing yards at halftime, which is absolutely, more than the Packers usually get in a couple of games, and they ended up holding on to the ball for large chunks of time. Now, here's the drawback. The drawback to having a run-heavy offense. Running the football gets the ball moving, keeps the clock moving, in the first quarter, for example, the Packers had a time of possession of 13 minutes and 17 seconds. In the first half, 23 minutes of possession for the game, 40 minutes and 11 seconds. You held the ball. That put pressure on the Indianapolis offense, and a very young Anthony Richardson, who's still making, his 6th career NFL start. But what it doesn't always do is finish drives. So you had only 1 touchdown in this game. You had 3 field goals. You had a missed field goal, and then you had a fumble inside the 5-yard line, the only kind of really bad play that Josh Jacobs made in this game. So the Packers still left points on the field. If you turn one of those three field goals into a touchdown, boy, is this different. If you don't fumble the ball away, boy, is this game different. You know, if the Packers ended up scoring on that drive in the second quarter and going up 17-0, at that point, it would have been game over. So again, not a perfect game by the offense, but they did what they needed to do. And that is important. Again, the red zone efficiency, just 1 for 3 in this game. And that is a little bit concerning. The other minor concern, 6 penalties for 50 yards. A couple of other penalties were declined. Most of the penalties happening more or less early in the game, so at least they settled down. But boy, you got to clean up those penalties. You cannot afford to continue. Jaden Reed, didn't have a lot of catches. The whole team didn't throw the ball all that often, but the 2 running plays were important. Great, really great to see Dontavian Wicks catch the touchdown and bounce back after he struggled in week 1, and the offense did its job. Defensively, the Packers were great in the first half on defense. Cannot complain at all. They only gave up 3 points in the half. And the other great thing that the defense did was take the football away. When you end up with 3 interceptions in a game and a positive turnover differential, and keep in mind, the Colts fumbled 3 times but recovered all 3. So when you're a +2 on your turnover differential and you make 3 picks, you are going to win the game more often than not. And the Packers defense certainly aggressive. Again, you're talking about a quarterback in Richardson who can run the football. So you're not getting as many sacks. In fact, the Packers only had 1. It was a great one by Devontae Wyatt. Only 3 quarterback hits. You're not going to get as many sacks. But what you did get were the 3 interceptions, and those were huge. Evan Williams getting the game clincher. Xavier McKinney, 2 interceptions in 2 games so far as a Green Bay Packer. And then Eric Wilson coming up with the 3rd. Again, just the big plays by the defense were really, really good. And they did a nice job of containing the Colts, especially in the first half. Now, in the second half, all of a sudden things look a little bit different. And the Colts moved the football, and, that certainly wasn't what you wanted if you were the Green Bay Packers, to see the Colts moving the football the way they did. But at the same time, when push came to shove and you're looking at a do or die situation, more often than not, the Packers defense did manage to step up and get the job done, and that's what you want to see. So Jonathan Taylor did get 103 yards. He kind of sat out most of the fourth quarter, but 103 yards on only 12 carries. So again, clearly the Colts were able to run the football, but at the same time, it didn't translate into lots of points. Anthony Richardson completing just half of his passes, 17 out of 34 for 204 yards. But, only a couple of deep balls, 1 to Mitchell, 1 to Ali Cox. And other than that, the Packers made the Colts drive the ball, and the Colts made the mistakes at key points. Now, had the Packers been able to finish a couple of those drives, had they not fumbled, this is a blowout, but it wasn't. And to their credit, the defense, even with a couple of moments late in the game, did not lose their cool. And you know what? I would be remiss if I didn't mention the punting of Daniel Whelan. 3 punts in this game, including a 59-yarder, averaged 46.3 yards per punt. All 3 of his kicks pinned the Colts inside the 20-yard line. You can't ask for more than that. And in a game when your defense has to step up and has to make plays, pinning an inexperienced quarterback deep in their own territory is critical for your defense to start in good field position. And the Packers did just that. Also, what the defense did well, they broke up 7 passes in this game, and it was done by 7 different players. Javon Bullard, Isaiah McDuffie, Xavier McKinney, Jair Alexander, Evan Williams, Carrington Valentine, and Eric Wilson, all breaking up 1 pass each. You love to see sort of that swarming mentality and the way that the Packers defense approached this game. Humorous moment, well, if you can call it that, right before the snap of the ball at the line of scrimmage, Packers center Josh Myers throwing up, and yet snaps the ball, runs the play, and the Packers keep going. Now Myers, didn't have the best game, was called for ineligible man downfield twice. One of them was declined. But overall, the offensive line doing a really strong job of opening holes for the running game, of protecting Malik Willis. He was not sacked in this game, and the Packers get the job done, end up with the W. And, we were talking here at the Packers Post about the importance of getting 1 win at least with Malik Willis as your quarterback. You got to figure he's starting 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 games, depending on how long it takes Jordan Love to come back. At the end of the day, the Packers now know they can win with Malik Willis. We said he had to get 1 out of 3 at a minimum. He got the 1. And now, next week, the Packers playing the Tennessee Titans. That is Malik Willis's former team. If you don't think he's excited to show his former team that they made a mistake in trading him away, there's going to be a lot of emotion and a lot at stake for Malik Willis. But the good news is, even though he's only been a Packer for less than 3 weeks, even though this was only his 4th career NFL start, the moment was not too big for Malik Willis. And as a backup quarterback, showing that you can handle the pressure, showing that you can run the offense efficiently, showing that you're not forcing plays and playing to your strengths, and earning a win when your starting quarterback is unavailable. These are all positive developments. This is what you need to see out of a backup quarterback. And hopefully, as Malik Willis learns the offense, gets more familiar with his teammates, and, starts to really understand what's required of him, boy, this could be, he could develop into a solid backup quarterback, and maybe even someone who down the road has the potential to start. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. One thing about young backup quarterbacks, they can be inconsistent. And, now Matt LaFleur is probably going to have to start developing a game plan that will allow him to lead this Packers offense next week with Malik Willis under center. Most likely he's going to start again. The Packers need to find a way to win after the other team has a little game film on Willis and the way the Packers want to run their offense. So overall, a really good win for the Green Bay Packers. And we will have it all here on the Daily Packers Post. And check out our website at thepackerspost.com, where we have in-depth coverage of the Green Bay Packers every day. I'm Gil Martin. Thanks for joining us here on the Daily Packers Post. Have a great day, and of course, go Pack Go!